Djokovic calls on future generation to step up regarding PTPA lawsuit. Novak Djokovic would like to see the next generation of tennis players step up and lend their support to the PTPA's fight against the sport's governing bodies. The 24-time Grand Slam champion spoke to media at the Miami Open on Thursday ahead of his opening match against Rinki Hijkita, with the majority of the questions understandably directed at the recent lawsuit issued by the organization which Djokovic co-founded. The PTPA's suit covers a wide-ranging number of issues, chiefly pointing the finger at the ATP, WTA, ITIA and ITF as being anti-competitive, monopolistic organizations that act in a cartel-like manner which doesn't have players' best interests at heart. Among the subject matters addressed are the tennis schedule, prize money size and allocation, and stipulations around drug tests. Djokovic first explained why his name is not personally on the paperwork filed this week, saying that his desire is to see others pick up the baton that he has been carrying for much of his career. "In general, I feel like I don't need to sign the letter because I want other players to step up," he said. "I've been very active, I think, in tennis politics, so to say. I think I'm towards the end of my career, and a lot of players have been relying on me to speak up and talk about these issues. I don't mind, but I would like to see the current leaders of the respective tours and future generations that are going to lead this sport for the next decades take a leap and understand that these issues are important for them. And not just for them, for the other players that they are representing. Even if you're not in a council or the PTPA, you're still, as a top player, regarded and celebrated from so many hundreds or thousands of professional tennis players around the world. I personally feel that there's a responsibility and an accountability that comes with that, and you have to carry that weight with you. Almost 20 years that I've been on the tour, I've seen some changes, but there are some fundamental changes that are still to happen. I really hope all the governing bodies will come together, including PTPA, and solve these issues. I've never been a fan or a supporter of division in our sport, but I've always fought for better representation or influence and positioning of the players globally in our sport, which is still not where it should be, or where most of the players think it should be. Not just in terms of prize money, but in terms of many other points that have been stated in that document. Djokovic, more players should be able to make a living. When asked which of the issues Djokovic feels is most important in the PTPA's suit, the Serbian made it clear that players being able to support themselves as full-time tennis professionals is the priority from his perspective. "When it comes to viable living, as many players as possible," Djokovic said. "I don't think there should be a limit to that. Currently, there's not enough players living from this sport. On the highest level we are earning good money, of course. I cannot complain for myself, far from that. But the reason I've been talking myself for years about the equal split of the pie or the increase of the prize money is because of the grassroots levels. The men and women professional tennis players that are fighting to basically continue playing the sport. I know personally a very big number of players who have left tennis because of lack of funds. I don't know exactly nowadays what is the number of people that are able to make a living from the sport, but I think it is probably singles, doubles, men and women combined, probably around 400 or so, which is not enough for the very global sport that we have. I want to see that number expand. I've been saying this quite a lot in the media in the last several years. Based on some studies and research that was done on the popularity of the sport, tennis is actually the third or fourth most popular sport in the planet. I think we're sharing the third spot with cricket. Number 1 is obviously football, basketball, followed by tennis and cricket. But in terms of maximizing its potential and commercial value, we're 9 or 10. So there's huge room for improvement, and we all know that in our sport. We're not inventing the hot water here. It's just a matter of everyone trying to find a common ground and common direction that would be suitable for everyone. Problem is, there's a monopoly that has been there for decades and it's hard to break it. Players were oftentimes getting the short end of the stick. I think it's right for any player really to speak up on these issues. You have to always remember that you were in their shoes. We all know how hard it is at futures level, first tier, second tier professional tennis. It's not easy. It boils down to a very limited amount of players who are able to live from the sport. It's a very global sport with a rich history. Tennis has an amazing platform, but from the players' side, we still feel like not enough has been done collectively for players. Suit could take some time to play out, says Djokovic. Djokovic was careful to somewhat distance himself from every detail of the PTPA suit, explaining that he does not have the final say within the organization. I co-founded it with Vasek in 2020, so it's been almost 5 years now, he explained. Ever since then it's grown into an organization that has full-time employees. I think we have around 30 people right now working day to day, so they make a lot of different decisions and initiatives moving forward. I am in an executive committee, but I am not in power or influence. I don't have a veto over decisions or actions that they take. This is a classic lawsuit, so lawyers to lawyers type situation. To be quite frank with you, there are things that I agree with in the lawsuit, and there are also things that I don't agree with. I found that some wording was quite strong in there. But I guess that the legal team knows what they are doing and what kind of terminology they are supposed to use in order to get the right facts. It might take a while for this legal process to unfold in whichever direction.